Well, long time no see. Good day. Welcome to another episode of the Raw Report, the real Raw Report. Got to keep saying that. I don't know. I might let this dude go ahead and have this name because I don't want to get in a quarrel and just do everything I need to do on the Bobby Brown show. May go back to Freedom on Fire. But nah, I don't compromise. I'm keeping the Raw Report. I'm the real Raw Report. You tell that brother that, okay? All right. So I want to talk about something. Andrew Cuomo, the man who would be king, the man that the Democratic Party right now will swap Joe Biden out for any day, any time, in a second, and they may just do it because Joe Biden got enough problems. And we're going to talk about the Tara Reade allegation. We're going to talk about his final response. After all these years, he finally responded to Tara Reade. After all these years of trying to cover up and probably playing a fear game in her to shut her up. And she probably just said, look, I ain't got no time for that. If you're going to take me out, but I'm going to go out swinging. But let's talk about Cuomo. Cuomo, a lot of people think that in the Democratic Party think Cuomo is progressive. He is not progressive. Cuomo is another Democratic Republican. Cuomo developed an organization to look into corruption, and then when they started to look into him, he shut it down. Cuomo always tried to be a friend of the unions, but he never really did much for unions. Cuomo, let me just go on with Cuomo. Yeah, the guy who said, I'm black, I'm Hispanic, I'm gay and all that, ain't neither one of them. You're an Italian corporatist, bro. And just face the fact. That's why the Democratic Party would love for him to be president. And black people, if he ever become president, he ain't gonna do nothing for you. He's not doing nothing for black people in New York right now, let alone anybody else. So he's not your friend. Now, let's get into this story. Chris Cuomo, I mean, not Chris Cuomo, but you want to call him his dad name. Governor Cuomo actually went on record talking about how bad the New York subways really are. Bruh, you from Queens. You know what the subways are like. The subways been nasty. Now they're not nasty like they was in the 80s and the 90s. They're a whole bunch cleaner than they are now. They're not riddled with graffiti, and you don't just see trash everywhere all the time. I do give the MTA and TWU Local 100 workers credit because they work their butt off to clean these trains, but you got to check the people at the end of the train station. Got on the A train coming from Rockaway Beach, and man, the last stop, here these people are getting paid $25 to $30 an hour just standing around, yipping and running their mouth and not even trying to clean the trains. Those are people you need to fire. There are people who are keeping these trains. Let me get into the story. Let me shut up. Talk too much.
I challenged the MTA to come up with a plan. They came up with a plan. They can disinfect all trains and buses every night. It can best be done by stopping train service from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. every night during the pandemic so they can actually perform this service. Now, remember the context that we're in this pandemic. Ridership is down 92%. 1 to 5 are these slow hours, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. It's the lowest ridership. Estimate is about 10,000 people ride the system overall during that period of time. So the MTA will launch what they call the Essential Connector Program. They'll have buses, dollar vans, and if necessary, will provide for-hire vehicles to transport a person. The Uber, the Lyft, the Via vehicles at no cost to the essential worker during those hours to provide transport. So people who need transportation during 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. can have it, will have it, even to the extent of a for-hire vehicle paid for by the MTA. Remember, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., we don't have bars open, we don't have restaurants open, so you don't have a lot of traffic that you would normally have. You do have essential workers who are using our trains and subways, and they will have transportation during that period of time. This is going to be one of the most aggressive, creative, challenging undertakings that the MTA has done. It's going to require the MTA, the state, the city, the NYPD to all work together. It's not that easy to stop train service. You have to close down stations. You have to make sure people don't walk in. Then you have to figure out how to clean all these trains and all these stations. I've consulted with the elected officials on the MTA's recommendation, and we all agree to accept the plan on the Essential Connector program. The MTA is undertaking something that people would have said was virtually impossible. Trains and buses will be disinfected daily. Service will continue. The MTA will also disinfect the fleet on the the Metro North and the Long Island Railroad, which is what goes out to Long Island, goes to the northern suburbs. They can do that without any disruption in service because of the volume of ridership, et cetera. So just think about it. The entire public transit system in downstate New York will be disinfected every 24 hours.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe.
All right, so there's the mayor. There's the governor of New York State saying that we're going to clean the subways. We're going to disinfect the subway. Why do you wait to now to decide to disinfect the subways? And do you understand, Cuomo, that there are people that's working in those subways that you've yet to give them a raise? These people are considered essential workers too. Now, I do applaud him for making it available that essential workers get to go back and forth to work absolutely free. But are you doing that for the essential workers that's on the Metro North going to work, or the Long Island Expressway going to work? You need to, if you haven't, made that available for them too, because that is kind of pricey. I took the Metro North. I live in Westchester County. I took the Metro North all the way to the airport when I was doing union campaigning, all the way to the airport, and that would cost me $8 to $11 one way just to get to the city, and then I have to get off and get on the subway or get on the Long Island Expressway, which costs another $8. So if he's making this available for essential workers where they get to ride free, kudos to you. But you need to up the Medicaid program. You need to keep your word on marijuana legislation, because people need to smoke weed during these times to keep their head level-headed. You promised that if it goes across your desk and we make you governor again, you was going to pass that into law, marijuana legislation. You haven't done that yet. You said that if we can get rid of the IDC, you'll pass Medicare for all. We haven't done that yet. Yet you got millions of people, at least 500,000 people, maybe thousands, I'll say at least 50,000 people here in New York City that have contracted COVID-19, and yet a lot of these people are fearing that if they go get the treatment or if they end up hospitalized, they're gonna have to deal with that bill. There's nothing that Trump said that will make it available free for them, and there's nothing that you did to make it free for them. But yet you are the one who said that if we can get rid of the IDC, an organization that you put in place of a bunch of Republicans that you can point to blame for you not getting your work done. You said if we get rid of them, and we did, we got rid of Klein, happened to be a good friend of mine. We got rid of Joe Klein and the whole entire IDC, removed them, and you still haven't kept your promise about giving the New York State Medicare for all. There should be nobody that's dealing with this situation or any other situation that have to worry about medical bills after you promised that you was going to give us Medicare for all if we put you back in the office. We put your butt back in the office. Where's the promise, bruh? Or are you a liar? Just like any other politicians, Cuomo, you're a liar. You're a liar. Now, I applaud you on how you handling this situation, but the first thing you should have did, was went and pull that bill from out of your trash can and sign it. And you didn't do it yet. Giving everybody in New York State Medicare for all, and we got plenty of money to pay for it. At least Bill de Blasio has put a measure in place that if you get sick and you don't have the money, and if you are low income, we're going to pay for your medical bills. You can at least do what you normally try to do, one up them. But no, you didn't. You don't. You lied. You lied about marijuana legislation. You lied about Medicare for all. And right now we got all these people suffering from this virus. And a lot of them ride the trains. A lot of them probably catching it from riding the trains. And I do understand, you know, you do get a lot of people, especially a lot of homeless people do ride the train. And that's, to me, that's no problem. I mean, as long as you take a bath every day or at least take a shower every other day or something like that, come on there, don't smell. And as long as you don't bring in a cart full of a whole bunch of whatever on the train, I'm okay with that. I don't mind. I mean, sometimes you got to find somewhere warm and somewhere where you figure it's safer than being in a park or on the street or behind a garbage can or something like that. I don't want homeless people on the streets. But the people that do come on that don't want help, don't want BRC, which is an organization to help homeless people, the Bowery Commission and all that, they try to help homeless people, don't want to go in to take the bath. You know, they just don't want nobody to help them. And yet these are the people that coming on the train drinking. They haven't taken a bath in probably 2 weeks. They're bringing all that stuff up. That don't need to be on the train. So I do agree with him on that. But to sit there and call the trains horrible, not all of them horrible, bruh. Not all of them. And you got to understand, why are they horrible when you got people who clean these trains and you have yet to renegotiate the contract on these things? Now, I do fault some of these people who do work on the trains. These people cleaning the trains get paid $30 an hour, but they're so lazy they don't want to clean the train. So he do need to be a little more aggressive. He should have been aggressive. He should have been disinfecting the entire train. And I do understand we don't have that many people riding the train, and there is a gap because I worked overnight. There is a gap. Not that many people riding the train overnight. You usually don't get except on the weekends, and the trains don't pick up till right around 4 o'clock in the morning. So he is saying 1 to 5. We're gonna take time to disinfect the train. Should have been did that, man. But you can disinfect the train all you want. You can apply all that pressure on Bill de Blasio. You can apply all that pressure on the train workers, which happen to be union workers. TWU Local 100, shout out. What's up? This your boy Rob. You need to pay them essential pay. You have not paid them essential pay. I got my former co-workers who work in the paratransit division that right now the ridership for paratransit is so low because elderly people and disabled people don't want to go out, that they're doing other work for MTA. And that's essential too. When you're going to pay them, when you're going to give them extra money. You done cut Medicaid when you should have been doing Medicare for all. Where's the money for these workers? You waiting on Washington, D.C., Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, who's kissing them behind the Republican Party just to get more money to corporations? Man, wake up, Cuomo. Look, people, the bottom line is this. Cuomo is not your friend. Cuomo is not a friend to labor. Cuomo is a friend to rich Republicans and rich Democrats. Why? Because he's a rich Democrat. His daddy was a rich Democrat and his brother is a rich Democrat. Okay? He is not your friend. He lies over and over again. He conned his way into that office by lying on Cynthia Nixon. He conned his dad into office against the other mayor. I can't think of his name right now. The one that used to say hi, Ed Koch. Do you know who really came up with vote no to the vote no more to the homo or something like that? He passed out paperwork saying vote no to the homo. Vote no to the homo. He came out with that flyer, that campaign to shame homosexuals and shame Ed Koch as a homosexual. He came up with that campaign. And then recently in the Cynthia Nixon campaign, who was running against him, he came up with another mess. But he claimed he didn't do that. But your workers did that. Some of your workers did that. You know what you're doing. Man, this guy is one of the slimiest, shadiest politicians that you ever met in your doggone life. And he could do a whole lot more for the state of New York, especially for New York City. But because he hates Mayor Bill de Blasio so much, he refused to help him as much as he can. He's only going to give Mayor de Blasio just enough to keep us off his behind. Him and Mayor de Blasio do not get along. And the reason being is because Mayor de Blasio is the closest progressive in New York State in office right now, and he's not. He's a corporatist to the DNR. And I'm telling you, he's not your friend. Now, subways need to be clean. Subways need to be defected. Should have been doing that a long time ago. These workers need more money. Don't pay them their normal MTA salary. I don't care if you did renegotiate a contract. These people out here going out every day risking catching COVID. I mean, somebody bring me some food, some groceries here. I'm still tipping them a decent tip, bruh. Because they out there making shopping for groceries. They out there cooking up the food and bringing it to me. They deserve extra. Why do you don't think these people deserve extra? And I don't care who it is. Anybody who do any kind of work to assist the city and the state to maneuver people through this crisis deserve extra pay. You got the money, but you're too much of a punk, Cuomo, to give it to them. Rob Brown with the Rob Report. I'll let you later. Peace.